I did a session today at a local retirement community, and the conversation was all about malicious or unsafe weather apps. And I want to share with you what I shared with them. It was really an interesting conversation, and actually some of the folks in the room had downloaded some of the apps that are generally considered either malicious or unsafe in some way or another, based on reporting by experts, by security experts, and et cetera, et cetera. And so I want to share this with you for you to consider. By the way, thanks to Winston Hearing Care for supporting the work that I'm doing, helping seniors overcome the risks and fears of technology. So back to today's topic. Some of the research that I did, I uncovered 4 names that have been considered to be unsafe or malicious apps. And if you're using any of these apps, then maybe you have a very specific reason why you're using them, and hopefully you have looked at the terms and services, the privacy statement. You've looked at what information they want from you to be able to use their apps, so that you are well informed about making the decision that you made to download this app on your device, or if you're a caregiver, to download it on a senior citizens app. Informed usage is important. These 4 apps, one is called Weather Forecast. It's an Android app that was full of malware, and by security researchers discovered this. The other one was called Good Weather. It actually was a Trojan malicious software that was wrapped all inside the app that was available on Google Play, and it was actually stealing at some point banking credentials and even intercepting text messages. Again, that was discovered by security experts a while back. And they actually, interesting enough, this is really scary. That app could actually lock your phone and capture your login credentials to your phone. That's just horrible. The other one's called Weather Forecast. It was reportedly collecting location data and email addresses and phone information, even though you had opted out of all of that. And it was actually attempted to secretly subscribe users to paid services. Go figure. That's pretty malicious in my mind. And the last one was one called TCT Weather. Just the name by itself indicates to me an app that I wouldn't download. And it was flagged for all kinds of malicious activity as well. So my point about sharing these 4 names is, A, to let you know what security experts have discovered, and B, to encourage you to look at, are you using these apps? And if so, why? Did you get it for a very specific reason? Did you get it for a reason that you really wanted? Or did you just get it somehow or another and you don't even know why you have it? Which often is the case of some of these apps. You know, even some of the popular apps that we all, the names we all know, we trust, they have been flagged in various times to be, less than authentic. Even the Weather Channel, there was a lawsuit with them about, excessive geolocation data collection. WeatherBug, which is a pretty popular app, it was flagged as potential spyware previously. And even AccuWeather, a very, well-known name, at some point or another was, criticized for sharing location data when you had turned off location services. So pay attention to their privacy statements and pay attention to the apps that you're using. There's a lot of alternatives to weather apps. We don't need to download them because they have big names or because they're rich in radar, unless you really want radar. And again, pay attention to the terms and services and privacy statements of apps that you use if you want radar services. But the built-in weather apps, whether it's the iPhone weather app or the Google weather widget, often those are your safer alternatives to good basic weather information. Even notifications for storms are built into those apps. By the way, there's nothing wrong with even your local radio or your local TV stations to get access to their weather information and even their notifications. I find that some of the research that I did indicated that some of these apps were asking for access to information on your smartphone that you didn't need to give it. It doesn't need to know your contacts, doesn't need your microphone, doesn't need to have access to your files, doesn't need to have access to your camera, doesn't need to have access for text messaging, because you can get those alerts through the apps. So if the app is asking for access to these other areas of your device, that could be a red flag that you may not want that. Another huge issue out there was clones. And these were apps that were using names that made you think that they were a trusted app. Again, whether it's the weather app or AccuWeather misspelled. So pay attention to these apps that may be fakes because they're clones. Look and see the reviews. Are there any reviews? Few reviews? Are there, millions of downloads but no reviews? Are there minimal downloads? Again, pay attention to the permissions they want. A legitimate weather app really only needs to have location services when you're using the app, and it needs to have access to the internet. Nothing else. So my suggestion is this. My personal suggestion is this. I'm all about keep it simple. For me, I'm using the iPhone weather app. That's all I want. If I want bigger alerts, I've got a weather radio downstairs that I can pay attention to. If you're going to use or want to use something beyond the native app to the device, then I strongly urge you to do this. Pay attention to the reviews. Pay attention to the number of downloads. Look at the app and look at the details of the app before you hit the download button. Pay attention to what permissions they want. And really, if you downloaded an app and then you decided that app is really not one I should use, you should remove it from your device and then go find a better solution. Hey, I'm Teddy. My purpose is to give you information that can make you better informed so you can make better decisions in regarding what apps you want to use on your device or what apps you want to put on your senior citizens' devices if you're caring for a senior citizen. I'm all about helping you overcome the risks and fears of technology, and I hope this is helpful for you.